approachable. You got to be sociable kind of person. Just some little bit of advice, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's important to be as professional as you can be any time of day. You know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's like, with you and I, we've been fans before of music.
Yeah.
Before we became professional musicians.
Yeah.
And if you go and see a show as a fan, it's not your business how they got there. Whether they get there in a limo or they drove up in a station wagon, or they fly in private jet, or they take a Winnebago.
Whether or not they're tired or they're sick.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
how much hours of sleep do they get? No.
Yeah.
The lights go down, music comes on,
Exactly.
and they're kicking ass. That's what you really care about. And that's what it's all about.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
You read stories after the shows, some of the special shows that I think we've seen, and you go, they were partying the night before, and, one of them had malaria, but what you saw of that show was outstanding, and it was probably the worst show that they've ever had, but you still think, God, that was amazing.
Yeah. Well, there's the difference between partying all night the night before and having malaria.
I imagine there is, yeah.
Malaria is not really much of a choice.
Yeah.
Partying is definitely a choice.
Yeah. Well, there was that time in the 93. Never mind. I felt pretty bad. But
oh, my God.
You always get the job done. Absolutely.
Yeah. What would you have wished to have brought you closure with Ronnie? Because as far as professional closure.
That's a good question. I think what he was planning, I wish we could have finished that for him, because I know that he was really, really, he really wanted to do that. It was always important for him to be in Black Sabbath, and just as important to be in Heaven and Hell. But to me, it seemed his most important thing that he ever wanted to do was his own band, was Dio. He had so much success.
Yes, he did.
With that.
Yes, he did. But there was a certain pride about what he was able to achieve with Black Sabbath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Some
to
incredible
take it to
things.
a different direction, not a higher level, but just a different. There's a different Black Sabbath with Ronnie as it is with Ozzy. There's two different bands.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Well, I think they've said it with Ronnie, and I think we know it, is that he's a lyricist, and he knows melody and stuff, and he can play guitar and stuff, and I don't think Ozzy can do that. Ozzy is Ozzy. He's got his Black Sabbath. He's Ozzy. I'm not slagging him. I'm just saying that's the difference of it, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think his most beloved thing was his own band, was it being, making that as and creating something special, and I think that's what he had in mind for Magica 2 and 3 and stuff. So I think that if we could have done that, I think that would have been at least a closure to Magica,
Yeah.
I mean, I could gone on and played with him for years. Obviously, we all could.
Well, that was the plan. I mean,
that was the plan, man.
When I got the call from Goldie with the concept of doing a Dream Child, even though I told him, listen, I'm committed to the Guess Who, but knowing the intention, the heart of what that project is, it's where it's coming from, which is not a tribute, but a celebration of what Dio, because remember, it's three guys from the last version of Dio, you, Goldie, and myself, making this record in the spirit of what Dio, the band, was.
I kind of felt that from some of the conversations I had, and I think me and you talked about it a little bit, but I don't think it ended up like that.
No, it did not.
I really don't. A lot of people are kind of saying, well, it's the next D. I don't hear Ronnie.
There's only one. There's only one Dio.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
But I think what brought it together, I think it was the need for some closure.
It was the need to do it, yeah.
To do it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, now that we're going to get final closure, but it brings us closer to that moment that we said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to Ronnie.
Yeah, I working with Craig and working with you is just great. So there's going to be that connection. You know what I mean? We've all played in bands together.
And Diego's such a great singer. As a matter of fact, Goldie sent me some.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. And an amazing human being too.
Yeah.
Wonderful man.
Yeah, send me $50 now, Diego.
And I mean, Wayne too. He's great.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about vocalists. There's such a DNA in any band, that they bring to it. And when I first heard Diego through some video links on YouTube that Goldie sent me to check him out, I listened to it and I got chills, And I called Goldie and say, listen, he definitely it would be great to work with him, but we need to have him not be as Dio-ish as he can really be.
Yeah.
So there was really an effort made to, and I think it was natural. I don't think he fought it because he sounds very natural in his performance. Diego does on the record.
He does on the record.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting, you probably too, and probably Craig, but I got sent a lot of stuff with guys, trying to be Ronnie and singing like Ronnie, and can we sing in Dio Disciples and all the rest of it. I mean, there's a lot of it.
I know.
And I think Diego, and this is not a put down, but I don't think I even listened to it because it was kind of like, oh, another guy, And it's not being, we just get so many of the bloody things,
Mm-hmm.
But when I hear Diego on this album, there's kind of an angriness to his voice that reminds me a little bit of Ronnie.
An edge to
but
it.
The rest of it, to me, doesn't.
Yeah.
It's like, it just doesn't,
Yeah.
There are some things that, because of that anger, he does have a little bit of referring to Ronnie, but people are saying he's the sounds just like Ronnie. He doesn't sound just like Ronnie.
No, I remember doing some shows
with an Argentinian accent.
I remember
Bless you, Diego.
some shows with you and and the guys over in Scandinavia, and for some reason we will always get like these death metal bands opening up for us, like the kinds that burn down churches in Norway and stuff like that, right?
Yes, we did. Got a couple,
and one of them was they had a female singer.
Yeah,
and I remember her coming in the dressing room to shake Ronnie's hand, and before the show, and she goes, "Oh, Ronnie, you're my biggest influence, and I love you," and blah blah blah. And very, very nice, very kind, right? So then she goes on stage, and she sings. Ronnie looks at me and goes, "Do I sound like her?"
Do I sound like them? Yeah.
But
which part of me influences her?
But I thought it was just so wonderful because it was such an honest approach. And then again,
it's probably Ronnie's spirit and the way he approaches things.
Spirit, really, absolutely. And for any musician, including myself, I have so many people, bass players that inspire me. And just out of respect, I don't want to steal or sound like they do.
Right.
I want to find my own thing, which I'm still looking for. It's like a never-ending process,
Oh, I think that's a good point.
Yeah, but nevertheless, if I see somebody and go, "Oh, you really, I love what you did, and thank you so much for influencing me," and they're going to listen to me playing, and they're going to go, "I don't sound anything like Rudy does." And it's because out of respect, I make a point not to sound like anybody else.
Yeah, I try to do that. There are some songs now and again where it creeps in. Like you've got some of the Zeppelin factor is always in me. I think Frankie Bernali's the same way. We love Bonham.
We talked about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of drummers do. They, but that doesn't mean we're going to go out and emulate him all the time and be like him or try to be Neil Peart or something like that. No.
It's interesting how Jason, his son, doesn't even play like his dad.
No, he's a little different. That's for
sure. Very
different. But he does do a great job of it.
Playing the music,
yeah,
celebrating the legacy. But if you listen to Jason naturally, I never had that conversation with him.
No, I haven't.
Whether he is doing it on purpose, because you have to make an effort.
Might be,
to like if your father happens to be the greatest rock and roll drummer in the world, and you don't sound like him. You have to make an effort at that because you're growing up listening to your dad play, since you were a little kid.
I can't imagine the questions which went through his head when he was growing up. What do I do? Who am I? What do I do now?
Yeah.
Who am I?
Yeah, exactly. So you have to make a decision about it.
But he's a great guy. Cool guy.
This conversation, I think it's only fair that we should mention one of the greatest contributors to the Dio band, Jimmy Bain.
Jimmy.
Yep. I loved everything about Jimmy.
Yeah, he was
his playing, his humor, his being a friend. He was like always one of the coolest guys to hang out with.
Yeah,
and with an incredible legacy with Ronnie dating back to Rainbow.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How was it playing with Jimmy?
It was great. When Jimmy came, there was a chance that Jimmy would come back, and he came back for the album Magica. And I jumped all over it. I thought, what a great... Because Ronnie asked me, he said, what do you think about Jimmy? And, Jimmy'd had his little ups and downs, and now he was on course again and stuff, and he came in and, he nailed it, And like you say, his sense of humour and stuff, and just his whole carefree, fun attitude, it was just great. It's really, really cool. I had the utmost respect for him. Brilliant bass player.
Me too.
And he didn't mess around either. He just got up there and just hammered it. He was, really cool guy.
Yeah, he had a beautiful tone that it seemed like no matter what, whether he played a Fender or a Yamaha or a Stratus, it's always sounded like Jimmy playing.
It did. He had a kind of a clunk to it, which really rattled along. It was really cool.
Very, very English sounding bass tone.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And feel too. I mean, his choice of grooves and everything was very, very cool.
As far as his playing and actually watching how he played, it always reminded me a little of Phil Lynott. It would be a real, almost like playing an acoustic guitar. Lemmy, nailing it.
Lemmy has that too.
Lem's got that. Had that too. Yeah. I think that's part of the English way of playing it. I think.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. It's really solid. Yeah.
Very solid. And then again, we were talking about Pete Way. He's got that. If you listen to early UFO records, there's a lot of great riffing, like a bass riffing going on. It wasn't just like simple little playing, He was kicking ass.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was, he would, it would be amazing. He'd love to party, though. He'd be jumping around like a rock star and stuff. Yeah,
and it was a great combination.
Yes, it was. Absolutely brilliant combination.
Yeah,
He's like the ultimate rock star bass player.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some nights it was like Halloween in that dressing room.
When UFO,
that's what Phil Mogg said anyway.
I gotta tell you, I experienced it firsthand when UFO opened up for Ozzy.
Yeah.
Phil, the singer, Phil Mogg.
Oh yeah,
it's just for the listeners so they know who we're talking about.
Yeah, it's Phil Mogg from UFO.
Yeah, he was a boxing Golden Gloves.
Yeah, he used to do that when he was younger.
Yeah, and we're talking about 37 years ago, so he was really fit, and young. Yeah. He would destroy a dressing room with his bare fist, and we're talking about. Let's say a dressing room has an adjacent bathroom with stalls.
Right.
Yeah, that will be damaged.
Didn't like it. Need a new one.
And Sharon would just send the bill because, of course, Ozzy being the headliner would be responsible.
Right.
Remember, let's say they finished the set and they were getting ready to do the encore.
Yeah.
They would be behind the Marshall stacks, fighting it out, punching each other. You see the amps, rocking back and forth, and they'll come back out and finish the set. Oh, man.
I did see a little bit of that when I was in the band. Him and Michael had their problems and stuff.
God.
But I got the utmost respect for both of them, and I never really understood what the hell was going on. They were just angry at each other. But, yeah,